All right, so we're gonna come back to this 318 with the 23 horsepower Vanguard in it. This video is I'm gonna walk around and kind of talk through my decision making on this machine, see what I want to do with it. We'll go from there. So, what do we have? We've got a 19, I believe 83. Yep. Serial numbers 231,000. So it is a 1983 318. So it would originally come with a B43G motor in it. That also means that it has the 4-port power steering in it. So that means that if you're trying to move the hydraulics while steering, it is pretty impossible because the auxiliary valve has priority over the steering valve, and they fixed that when they went to the 5-port steering. Known issues with this machine: the engine actually runs good. It needs a new throttle cable because the throttle cable is snapped off. You can see the throttle cable is snapped off right there at the throttle. So we do need a new throttle cable. It has no hour meter. I'm guessing it has higher hours. Just a thought on my part, I'm guessing it has higher hours. It has a leak back here on this axle. So that's all nice and gooey. You can see where the hydraulic fluids drip down. The 3-point, let me pull the garage down here so we can have a little bit more light. And I will grab my phone. We can really have a little bit more light. So in this particular case, so this is a Rug Manufacturing 3-point. I think it's really nice. This machine doesn't have a hitch, but I got a hitch with it. Doesn't have a hitch on it, but I have a hitch. But it is missing the, sorry about my phone here and all the movement, but we're missing basically the threaded rod there that sets the height of the 3-point and the deck. Could be multiple reasons for that. I don't necessarily think it presents a problem. It does let the 3-point drop a little bit lower, which my guess is that's what the previous owner was doing. I'm going to open up this garage again because it is hot in here. So benefit is it does have a 3-point on it. The seat's been moved back, and so we have that tennis ball as our plug for the fuel tank. This side is fine in terms of axles, no big deal there. We're missing our reserve pickup on the fuel tank. And then we have the electrical hacks. So there's this switch here. I have yet to figure out what it's doing. Something just beeped and I don't know if it was my camera or what. But anyway, the camera still seems to be recording. We also have this switch on the dash, and this is what allows spark to occur in the engine. Now if you look, there's a negative here. That negative goes down and comes in right here. And you have a positive that comes in. Something happens down there. Not really sure what. And then we have all these wires coming in here. There's a positive wire going to this switch and coming out of this switch, and it plugs into, guessing that was the old ignition. Maybe it just needs an ignition switch. Because this looks here like it goes on the, I have no earthly idea why my camera is beeping, but it's just beeping away at me. So it's got some electrical issues that I need to address. Other than that, I believe for the most part it seems okay. I know it's got a drip somewhere underneath it that I have to take the fender pan off to get to, which we'll do here in just a minute. All the hardware has been replaced. so even to get the side panels off, that's why there's no video of it. I ended up using a crescent wrench to get the side panels off because whatever bolt is on there, it's like a 5/16 or 1/4 inch, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out and I gave up. The Vanguard runs really well, no smoke or anything, so definitely have some potential with the Vanguard. I don't know what I want to do with it yet. I don't know if it's going to stay in this machine, if, you know, maybe based on the fact that it's going to take a lot of hours to repair that seal over there on that side, because you basically have to pull the axle out, along with a couple other issues that it has, you know, in the electrical issues and the 4-port steering versus the 5-point steering and the later one. Do I actually want to take this Vanguard and maybe drop it in that 318 back there? I don't know yet. I'm definitely going to sit and think about that for quite a bit. But overall, I'm really happy these tires will not stay with this machine. Ultimately, I will sell this, but they will not. These tires will not be sold with this machine. Ultimately, they'll be just regular tires with the Briggs Vanguard. So we're going to tear into it, and we'll go from there. I'm going to go ahead and get the fender pan off to see what we can figure out in the back, trying to figure out where that drip's coming from underneath the machine. Alright, we got the fender pan off, and oh, the things you find. Quite possibly the most unique fix I have ever seen for a fuel line. So what the previous owner has done is he has blocked off this outlet for the gas tank. He has then used the old pickup that went here on the end of this pickup. So there's a pickup that goes on the tank. The end of this pickup, so the grommet's still on it, and then just route it into the fuel line. That's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Shaft's got a little bit of wobble to it. The good thing is there doesn't appear to be any major leaks up here, so that means most likely the leak, the input shaft's not leaking. That means most likely the leak is somewhere under here, which we can figure out. Most likely it is just the pickup tube or the suction tube in the bottom of the differential. Drive shaft wise, it looks like there's a drive shaft adapter on the engine to adapt the B series drive shaft to this engine. So I would suspect there's a different adapter for the P series. And then also it looks like they just replaced the entire clutch on this unit. Based on appearances, it just looks like a whole new clutch that goes on the front versus trying to reuse the Deere clutch that has that awkward inch and 7/16 shaft on it from the Onan. So definitely need to redo the fuel lines if we get that far. Let's see here, underneath the fuel tank. Nothing terrible underneath there. That's good. Don't see anything bad. No leaks or anything like that. Fuel comes out. That's not good. So, yeah. Got to figure out, the choke doesn't seem to work, because when you pull the choke out, something happens, but nothing happens to the actual engine running. Let me see if it'll fire up here. So I haven't done anything with the choke, but now let's pull the choke out. Nothing happens. So it tells me that something's ineffective with the choke, or it seems. So I don't know. We'll have to investigate that. But I mean, the engine itself runs really, really good. See if I can get my hand down there without burning my hand. Trying to figure out what's where. I mean, it runs really nice. It's just really hard to hand control with the muffler right there. It gets pretty hot really quick. Also, the battery light on, that's just an electrical issue. I went ahead and put the tester, the multimeter on the battery, and the battery is charging once the motor's running. So this is another thing we'll have to figure out why that's there. I would assume it has something to do with all these wires in here. We just got to get in there and get it figured out. Go ahead and turn it off. So I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. It's already almost 10 o'clock and I haven't eaten dinner yet. So I'm going to go ahead and go eat dinner and get this video all set up. And we'll go from there. So, got questions about this setup, leave them below and I will try to answer them as I dig through this thing. The more and more I think about it, I really like the idea of taking this engine right here and putting it in this frame over here, because what that'll allow us to do is that'll allow us to basically say, hey, this is what you need to do to repower a 318 with the Vanguard. I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe. I'll have to think about it some more. So, I think that's it for now. Thanks for watching.